If the circles in the 5 by 5 square from Module 1 were filled instead with 1 yard by 1 yard tiles, how many tiles would fill the space? What would the area in the space be? And how would you write a formula for the area of the square, of any square, using S to represent the length of one side of the square? So here we have the dots that you saw in Module 1. So 5 dots along one side and 5 dots along the other side. So if instead we replace those with 1 yard by 1 yard tiles, here's a sketch showing those tiles around each of those dots. So that means that we have 5 1 by 1 yard tiles along one side and 5 1 yard by 1 yard tiles along the other side. And that means that each side is 5 yards in length. So the total space that fills this larger square could be found by adding up all of the squares inside the space, but that would be tedious. So instead, what we can do is multiply the number of tiles along one side, so the number of rows, say, by the number of columns, right? Because remember, multiplication is just repeated addition. So we have 5 rows 5 times. 5 times 5 gives us 25 of these square yards, okay, of these square tiles, which means, in other words, that the area of that space is 25 square yards. The formula would be, if we let one side be represented by S, so we can let one side be S. Okay. So if we go side times side, S times S, we get S squared. Because remember, the exponent tells us how many times the base is a repeated factor. So S times S is S squared. So a formula for the area of a square is S squared. Replace that S with 5 for this specific case, and you get 5 squared, or 25 square yards. So 25 square yards is the area of this larger square.